on the Cambridge Ball State Cardinals Sports Network from Learfield. Welcome to This Week in Ball State Sports, a Ball State Athletics podcast, highlighting the Cardinals athletics teams and administration each week. Presented by Cambridge. Here's the voice of the Cardinals, your host, Mick Tidrow.
Hey, Ball State Cardinals fans. Welcome into another edition of This Week in Ball State Sports. Sincerely appreciate your support of the podcast, your questions. Don't be afraid to send us questions at ballstatesportspodcast@gmail.com. Deliver those questions to us. Director of Athletics Jeff Mitchell will answer questions throughout the course of the year. He's not going to be on this week's episode, but we do have the commissioner of the Mid-American Conference, Dr. John Steinbrecher, in a pre-recorded interview that we did Saturday for the football game, but want to share that with our audience here because it's a very insightful conversation about where he sees the MAC at, the rumors about Toledo and Northern Illinois and the Mid-American Conference changing. He addresses some of that as well. So that's going to be our leadoff today, is that pre-recorded conversation with Commissioner Dr. John Steinbrecher of the Mid-American Conference, and also a pre-recorded conversation that we had on Saturday at the football game for Family Weekend. Just a day after inducting Keith Wenning into the Ball State Athletics Hall of Fame, we talked to him and want to share that conversation here because it's a very insightful back and forth with him as he looks back on some of his fondest memories as a Cardinal, what it means for him to be inducted in the Hall of Fame, and what he's doing right now. We actually had a chance to bring his family up to the booth, and his kids were in the background of the interview. So a great conversation with Keith. Can't wait for you all to hear it. And then we'll have conversation with Ty Robinson that I planned on putting in the pregame interview for the game Saturday against Kent State. But I also want to share it here because Ty Robinson, back after missing a couple weeks of injury, missed most of last season with injuries for the Ball State football team. So I thought that was a very great conversation and want to share that here as well. And then we'll also have our conversation with head coach Mike New. But first, leading us off after this break is the commissioner of the Mid-American Conference, Dr. John Steinbrecher, here on This Week in Ball State Sports.
Fly, Cardinals, fly.
He has open daylight, jumps toward the end zone, barrels in, and he is in.
Every play, every touchdown, every Cardinal win is here.
Barrels toward the end zone, and it's a Cardinals touchdown.
The Cardinals travel to Kent State to face the Golden Flashes. Join us live Saturday, October 12th. Our coverage begins at 11 a.m.
Commissioner, appreciate your time. I know your schedule's a little bit busy this time of year.
It's all good. This is what falls in the Midwest are all about, right? I mean, you got great temperature, the leaves starting to change. Should be an exciting football game. It's great to be here.
It is. Sunny and 75. When's the last time you could say that on October 5th?
It's just marvelous.
It is. So, Commissioner, there's so much happening in college athletics, specifically in the college football landscape right now. What is your take on how the Mid-American Conference is positioned right now in this moment as we're almost midway through the college season?
You know, we've had an interesting season, right? We've had some spectacular wins and some near misses. We need fewer near misses, and we need to convert some of those things. So we've done some really good things. I feel better about us as a league football-wise this year than I did a year ago. So that's a positive.
Why is that?
Some better wins, some higher profile wins. So I thought that was a positive step in the right direction. But you need more of it. You've probably been around me enough. I don't like losing anything, so anytime we lose a game, I get a little cranky. But
I can't blame you.
You know, we're competing hard, and we'll see what we do. I like our conference. For set football side, I like our conference. Right? Everybody fits. Everybody looks the same. We have a level field for people to play on, and that's one of the strengths of our league. And I think that will continue.
It's always been known as a bus league, and for the most part, it's going to stay that way. But the addition of UMass opens up that a little bit. What's your process like to say yes to UMass and to have them come in? Because we know they were a football only, but joined in the conference for a while, but now they're all sports.
Yeah, and they actually had an offer of all full membership way back when. And when they declined that, we said, well, okay, then maybe you need to step out. And it had to do with some affiliate stuff, right? They approached us a year ago, about this time actually, and said, hey, we're prepared to come in all sports. Would you consider us? And so we started that process, and you look at a lot of things. And for us, it starts with academic profile. You're talking about a top 50 public national research institution. I mean,
absolutely.
In terms of peer group, you go check, okay, let's set that aside. Then let's get into the other stuff. They look a lot like everybody else in this league. Fund their programs similarly, all of those types of things, nice broad-based program, and have really been very, very strong in virtually all of their sports except football. They're not going to get good in football until they get into a league. They got nothing to play for right now. They don't have bowl agreements, can't play for a championship. They're kind of out, they're like Moses out in the wilderness there, right, and just wandering. So I feel fairly confident based on what I see from them financially and what they're investing in the program, what their facilities look like. I like their coaching staff right now, and recognizing people come and go, so you got to look at things beyond that. I think they will come in short time become a competitive part. Other sports, they'll help maintain or lift us up, and that's the expectation. You want people, you bring in people for two reasons: to survive or to make yourself better. We think they bring value to our league. We're not in survival mode. We're in get us better mode, or help us get better. We think they make us a more valuable group of schools.
The rumors swirling around, you just think about survival mode. The rumors swirling around with Toledo, Northern Illinois. I don't know how much you're at liberty to talk about all of that, but it sounds like the strength of those teams being as good as they've been in the Mid-American Conference, like they know what they have here in the MAC.
Well, I'd like to think so. And at the end of the day, everybody's got to make decisions on where they want to be. Lots of people talking out there. Not everybody knows what the heck they're talking about.
That's a great line. We could just stop the broadcast right there. I think that's perfect.
Which isn't to say, the commissioner is going to be the last person to know when something happens. I'll read it in the paper probably before any of that. But again, there's a reason we've been pretty stable, and it's because it works. We have great homogeneity, which is unusual in conferences today. We're all public national research institutions. We are, even with the addition of UMass, we have the tightest geographic footprint. In fact, our average distance on a road trip will be less than half of the next closest conference.
Less than half?
Yes. So
with UMass?
With UMass. Geographically, we're the tightest. How we fund our programs, we have the smallest delta between the lowest expense budget and the highest expense budget, which gets back to, if you're winning, it's not because you're out resourcing somebody. It's because we've had presidents and we've had presidents who've hired good ADs, who have hired good coaching staffs, who have brought in student athletes and motivated them X and O'd and all those types of things, right? And that's why you see our administrators and coaches be sought after by other people, because if you're winning here, it's because you have all those requisite skill sets. It's not because you've got $50 million more to play with. And it also means we have robust competition. It's hard. It's unusual in a lot of our sports for someone to stay at the top of the heap year after year after year. There's much more up and down, which I know can be maddening for fans, but it also should give everybody great hope. Yeah, you have a rough year or two. Pretty good chance it could turn quickly.
And we see that on a week-to-week basis almost because of the Northern Illinois win that you mentioned against Notre Dame, and then the next week lose to Buffalo, and then Buffalo lost recently as well. So it's a conference that I think that so many of us adore because of those reasons. You have competitive games every single week, and I think Coach knew, I don't know the exact number, but the amount of one-score games that are in this league is insane.
It's the most of any of the FBS conferences.
Yeah.
So every week you got to show up. And it points to the fact, and you hope and try and reinforce it with your scholar athletes, is our best teams are good enough to go out and compete and defeat virtually anybody in the country. By the same token, if you don't bring the A game every week, you also have the ability to get beat by virtually anybody in the country. And it's a tough job week after week because you've got to bring your best.
Commissioner Dr. John Steinbrecher joining us here on the Greg Keebler Countdown to Kickoff before Ball State and Western Michigan. Commissioner, really appreciate your time. Enjoy the rest of the day in Muncie and what's to come for you.
good luck to you, and we're off to Detroit from here and on to Indy later in the week. So it'll be a busy week.
Enjoy the state of Indiana, well, especially while it's warm.
We'll do so.
Fly, Cardinals, fly.
He has open daylight, jumps toward the end zone, barrels in, and he is in.
Every play, every touchdown, every Cardinal win is here.
Barrels toward the end zone, and it's a Cardinals touchdown.
The Cardinals travel to Kent State to face the Golden Flashes. Join us live Saturday, October 12th. Our coverage begins at 11 a.m.
We're joined today by Hall of Fame, Ball State Hall of Fame quarterback Keith Wenning, and some family members also joined us here on the booth. Keith, first off, congratulations on the Hall of Fame induction, and welcome family here to the booth.
Thank you. It's fun to be back for sure. This weekend means a lot to me. It means a lot to our now family. Share the experience with the kids and stuff. They're having a ball, so it's good.
It's a little bit different having kids not coming back here to games instead of being down there on the field.
Yeah, it definitely is. It brings back a lot of memories just seeing these guys now warming up and on the field. Wish I was down there, still doing it 10 years later. But it's like I said, it's fun to be back and fun to see them and share this moment with family and friends and whatnot.
Keith, what was it like for you last night to be inducted into the Ball State Hall of Fame?
It was definitely an honor. This place, is I credit it to molding me, into who I am today. Definitely a certain portion of myself. Taught me a lot. Have a lot of great memories, a lot of great characteristics from this place that I was able to take with me. Taught me a lot, and throughout life, still today, still utilize those things that I learned, responsibilities and decision making, and just different qualities that I had learned here. Still use it in my day-to-day life.
How do you use some of those qualities now that you have 3 kids?
Sometimes your blood boils a little bit more, and I don't know where my wife went, but love my kids to death. They're everything. So much fun and so much joy. Definitely a stress, but it's one of the best stresses in the world. They are what I do it for, on a day-to-day basis. With my wife, she's amazing what she does with our family and for our kids. So they mean everything to me. I mean,
you learn how to handle pressure as a quarterback, so I think that you're ready for this.
Yeah, it's a little different type of pressure. Sometimes it can be a loud screaming kids and whatnot, but no, they're great, and I enjoy every moment of it. Sometimes it may not seem like it, but I do.
Keith, I want to go back to the Hall of Fame ceremony last night. Sean Baker wasn't able to be in attendance. He's coaching with the Houston Texans, but you two were teammates for a couple of years. How special was it for you to be able to be inducted with a teammate and a friend of yours?
It was awesome. Me and Sean had a great relationship. Our time here, we were close, on and off the field. I was texting him last night when Joe Hernandez was up on stage accepting his award for him. But just, talking back and forth, it's like, we haven't missed a beat. So, our time here was special. So it was really cool to have a teammate from the same time frame being inducted at the same time. We went through a lot together with coaching changes and weight room, workouts and early mornings and all that kind of stuff. So someone that I cherished as a teammate and still as a person that I can get in touch with today.
When you look back at last night, it's been probably a whirlwind of a weekend for you so far, just because of family, friends in town, and then the Hall of Fame ceremony last night. But when you think about what last night meant to you and your family, how would you describe that?
It was really special. To be inducted into Ball State Hall of Fame for athletics it means a lot. Not everybody gets that opportunity. Not everybody gets that reward or accomplishment. I feel like I'm a humble guy. I've always been a humble guy, and it comes, my wife keeps me humble. My mom and dad have kept me humble over the years. So it definitely is a great honor. Truly something that I'll cherish forever. Hopefully someday my kids, will cherish that and and try to achieve for something like that. But it's definitely a great honor, and I'm really proud to be a part of it.
I know you probably get asked this a million times, and we asked you last night, favorite memories of playing for Ball State football, but are there any that maybe people don't, or you don't think about that you tell people? Because the bowl games always stick out, this or that, but is there like a moment or a throw or something like in the moment that you remember?
There's a lot of, the big-time throws, the big-time plays that stand out. There's some plays that happen in the game that, honestly, may not have been a huge standout play to people in the fans, but inside, the team, whether it was a play, versus Kent State, the last 2-minute drive, I think it was my senior year or junior year here against them. Willie Snead cutting it up the middle for a big play to go down and finally score. There's little plays that not many people think about, but I can vividly remember, replay in my mind that were such a huge part of our success that I'll take with me and continue to remember, going forward.
I think a lot of people remember the throw to Willie in the corner of the end zone against USF, right?
Yeah.
I think that plays on repeat in a lot of people's heads.
Yeah, I mean, we went down there the year before and played them and didn't stand a chance. They were just so much bigger, so much stronger than us. The next year they came up here and we were the same size. We were just as fast. We cooked them on offense, honestly. We played really well. Defense played well. And, yeah, we had an opportunity to win at the end of the game, and we made some plays and ended up shocking them.
Well, Keith, we'll let you enjoy the rest of your Hall of Fame weekend. But, again, congratulations on your induction. It's more than deserved.
I appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
Fly, Cardinals, fly.
He has open daylight, jumps toward the end zone, barrels in, and he is in.
Every play, every touchdown, every Cardinal win is here.
Barrels toward the end zone, and it's a Cardinals touchdown.
The Cardinals travel to Kent State to face the Golden Flashes. Join us live Saturday, October 12th. Our coverage begins at 11 a.m.
Ball State's on the road against Kent State for another Mid-American Conference matchup, and we're with wide receiver Ty Robinson. Ty, appreciate you joining the show, and good to see you back out there on Saturday.
Man, it felt really good to be back out there. I could not wait. It felt like it's been long enough, so it felt really good to be back out there with the guys.
When you got the all good clear to get on to the field, what was running through your head?
Man, I was just really excited, especially because last year I had that injury and wasn't able to play. I've been at all the practices, been through spring ball, been through fall camp. And then obviously when I hurt my shoulder first play of the game, obviously I was pretty upset. But once I got that good to go to get back into practice and get back with the guys, I just attacked it as hard as I could so that, I could play in the game on Saturday.
What was it like for those couple of weeks to mentally stay sharp and know that, hey, I have to be in this frame of mind to be ready to go for Saturday? Yeah,
obviously it's difficult being away from the game of football if you've played it for a while. But at the end of the day, you just got to stay strong and know. Obviously, this wasn't a season-ending injury, which is really good, and I knew that all my teammates still needed my help. I needed to be locked in. I needed to help in any way that I could, even if I wasn't on the field. So it honestly wasn't very hard for me to stay in it as I've been injured.
Did last year kind of help with that when you did get hurt this year of like, hey, I know what kind of mindset I have to have, especially with it not being season ending?
Yeah, absolutely. It did help, which is unfortunate, obviously, but it did help a little bit. I just knew that I needed to stay locked in for my teammates, help them, see stuff on the practice field, and really just attack rehab and get back as fast as I could.
How have you been able to build that with Caden Simmons? I know missing some time during the season last year, missing time this year. There's probably a lot of off-season work that went in to make sure that when you got back in, there was no miss.
Absolutely. As soon as I was all good with my thumb from last year, me and Caden were throwing together. Obviously, we had all spring ball, all of summer. We had all of fall camp as well. Really just getting in with him and a lot of the other receivers, getting our timing right and everything was really big. And it's really easy to come do that. We all love doing that. So, the timing and everything with Caden has always been on point.
What I love, Ty, about your touchdown grab is you went up to go get it, and you tested out that shoulder, and you trusted that your body was ready to go. What did you see on that play to open you up?
Really just, throughout film the whole week, just knowing how they play, scheming up the right way. As soon as he called the play, I knew I was going to get the ball. I just knew I had to go up and get it. There was no other way for me to do it. So, really just trusting the process, really. Like I said, I've been attacking the rehab. Our, strength staff has been helping me a lot. Our trainers have been helping me a lot. So I had full trust in, my body and what I could do going into the game.
And so you didn't have any limitations from your standpoint. You said, hey, I'm just going to go out and do this?
Absolutely. There's no other way to do it.
Ty Robinson joining us here on the Greg Hubler Countdown to Kickoff before Ball State takes on Kent State here on the road. Ty, we talked with you last year at the very beginning of your Ball State career. Up until this point now, you've been able to see a season and a half as a Cardinal and White member. What have you noticed about what Ball State football means to a lot of people? Really
the biggest thing that I think is emphasized here is the family aspect of everything. I just think that all of the coaches and all of the players are really close. I think it's just a family atmosphere here, and that's a lot different from, places I've seen or places that I've been to or visited in the past. So, I really appreciate that feeling of family that we have here and how close everybody is.
How has Coach New kind of pushed that for you?
Really, he's a consistent coach. He comes in the building every morning, has the same energy. He's always emphasizing the same things. He'd never ask us to do anything that he wouldn't do himself. So it's really easy to look up to a coach like that, to play my hardest for him when he's emphasizing those small things like emphasizing, family and, sticking together.
How about Coach Elliott? I know he slides into the new role as a full-time offensive coordinator. How have you seen your relationship with him develop?
Oh, man, I love Coach Elliott. He's really encouraging. Just like Coach New, he comes in the building every day with the same energy. He's fired up all the time. It's funny, but I just love playing for him. He just brings energy for the offense, and he gets us all going. So it's also really easy to play for him, too.
Now he's kind of more focused on the tight ends in the past as a tight ends coach, but now with the OC, how have you seen him kind of take control with the entire unit to make sure this offense can click?
Yeah, absolutely. He pops into, our meetings every once in a while. We're having, unit meetings every once in a while. He's just really good at, emphasizing what we need to do as an offense to be successful, and then obviously getting us to, play like that and get us to play like that. And he just does a really good job getting us all together on the same page.
Ty, we're getting closer to seeing the entire wide receiver room be available for Ball State football. We got a little bit of a glimpse of what it can be with Justin Bowick still waiting in the wings to get cleared, but a lot of players back out there on the field on Saturday. How are you seeing this unit mesh together and be ready?
Yeah, man, I think we have a lot of depth, and obviously as we've seen throughout the past 4 games, our wide receivers can go, and we have a lot of depth. Anybody can, get the ball and make plays. So really just getting us all back together is going to be a really good feeling, and, hopefully that'll be really soon.
Because we heard all the talk in the spring and in the summer about this team being fully healthy and ready to go from a wide receiver standpoint, and we're all excited for it. We're getting closer, like you said. But what are you seeing from this wide receiver group that is the growth? Because we talk about it, but from a growth standpoint, what have you seen from that?
I really just think, the players who were here last year really just stepping up into a leadership role. Keon Magwood, Malcolm Gilley, Cam Pickett, all stepping into a leadership role, going out on the field and making plays. And obviously all the young guys are bought into, they want to play, they want to be great. So really just I think the family aspect in that room and how close we are. Also Coach Van, too, we love him. We want to play hard for him, too. He's a good coach. So I just think the family aspect in our room has really brought us together this year.
You mentioned Cam. He was kind of sidelined with you last year with some injuries. How has he been able to bounce back and have such a great start to the year?
Man, I think I'm probably the most proud of Cam Pickett. Obviously, he had double hip surgery. I couldn't imagine going through that. He's ever since I got here, I've seen him in the facility just grinding in rehab, grinding to get back, and then seeing him, be able to play this year and take off and score touchdowns and get some points on the board for us just means a lot to all the receivers, really, and it's inspiring to see what he's came back from. So it's just want to play hard for him, play hard for everybody, and, just keep doing what we're doing.
Ty Robinson joining us here on the Greg Hubler Countdown to Kickoff before Kent State, Ball State kickoff, Week 6 for the Cardinals. on the road again. Ty, when you look at what this offense can be and what you've seen through the first 5 weeks, how would you assess where the group is at right now?
I think the sky is the limit. Obviously, we've had some tough MAC losses, both of them 3 points. We're putting a lot of points on the board. I think we're just so close. We're right there. I think the offense is really gelling together, and I really do think that the sky is the limit. So obviously just emphasizing the stuff that we've been doing in practice, just take everything one day at a time, just paying attention to the game plan, watching extra film, knowing our stuff. I just think that our offense, really the sky is the limit. We do have a lot of potential to do good things this year.
You mentioned the sky is the limit. I love that you say that, and everybody's been kind of pointing at Caden Smon's a QB1, redshirt freshman coming in. How have you seen him just continue to grow in that confidence in his seat on the bus?
Yeah, man. Even last year, too, this kid's a born leader. He has the whole offense behind him. Honestly, really the whole team loves him. The one thing that I noticed about him when he takes the ball out of the pocket, he never slides ever, which is not good, but it's also like I love this dude. He wants to go out and win for us. He really is a true leader. He's brought the offense along a long way, man. So we really do appreciate him and what he does for us.
Do you know Braden Sloan had that good of an arm when he got to Ball State?
No, I didn't actually. I didn't know that, man. He did have an arm on him, man. I was surprised, man. That was a good play for us, though.
That was a great play. Seeing the toss from Samanza to Braden and the throw to Christian. Drew Hughes, too. Oh, you put the guy as the fullback, and how cool was that?
That was amazing, man. The whole team was ecstatic. We were running off the sideline, man. It was really good to, get Smiley in the end zone. Felt good for us.
Ty Robinson joining us here before Ball State and Kent State played. Ty, when you look at what the season is so far, of course not the exact record that you want at this point, but what do you want to tell Ball State fans about this Ball State football team that you have confidence in going forward?
Yeah, man, I just think that we have a lot of dudes who want to win, and obviously the season's not even halfway over with yet, so I think we just still have a long way to go. And then obviously with the MAC conference, every single team is good. Every single game is going to be a close game. So really just I think that, we have a lot of work to do, obviously, but I think we're right there. Just emphasizing the same things that we have been. I think we could turn this around very quickly, and we have the opportunity to do that this week. Started off with the win.
Last one for you, Ty, the energy after your first touchdown catch at Schumann Stadium. How did you just feel that energy?
Oh, man, that was probably one of the best feelings I've ever had throughout my whole college career. I feel like I've been waiting forever to play. I've been here for 2 years now, and this is my first home game that I've ever played in. So, it was a really cool feeling. I can't wait to have many more of them.
Hey, Ty, we appreciate you. Good luck the rest of the way.
We appreciate you guys. Thank you.
Fly, Cardinals, fly.
He has open daylight, jumps toward the end zone, barrels in, and he is in.
Every play, every touchdown, every Cardinal win is here.
Barrels toward the end zone, and it's a Cardinals touchdown.
The Cardinals travel to Kent State to face the Golden Flashes. Join us live Saturday, October 12th. Our coverage begins at 11 a.m.
Hey, Cardinal fans, welcome back inside This Week in Ball State Sports. And we're sitting down with head coach Mike New of Ball State football. Coach, I appreciate your time as always here on a Monday afternoon.
Yeah, appreciate you having me.
So, Mike, just recapping last week a little bit, just wanted to kind of gather your thoughts of what your message to the team was directly after the game, and then also kind of coming in Sunday, Monday to get ready.
I think the number one thing in terms of the positive approach is we're a handful of plays away from being 3-2. And so it hurts when you fight to get ourselves in a position to win that game on Saturday. We had the lead going into the fourth quarter, 35-31, and we didn't finish. We didn't play our best football in the fourth quarter when it matters the most. And no matter how you cut it up, however you spin it, whatever you want to say, you have to be able to play your best football and finish it. Especially in this conference, it's a very competitive conference. So really, I told our guys, obviously we've been in 2 MAC contests right now. We've lost both games by 3 points. So we got to make a decision that we got to tighten up the screws here. We have to get better at the little things. We got to take more pride in that. And, everything that we want is right in front of us, but it comes down to us being able to deliver when we need to.
Mike, everybody talks about fight, especially through adversity, down 14-0 after the first couple of really plays of the game. Saw the team fight back, score a touchdown immediately after that. How did you see that fight in that first quarter to get back into it?
Yeah, I thought it was awesome. Obviously, I changed the approach. I forced the issue a little bit. when we won the coin toss, I wanted to take the ball and try to get off to a fast start and kind of set the tone. But obviously we didn't, take the first possession and do anything with it. And so obviously they scored on their first possession. We had a turnover very quickly on our second possession there, and we got down 14-0. But, credit the guys. That kickoff return really changed momentum for us, and I think it really gave us a great spark that way. And then obviously we battled back. It was great to have 2 defensive stops there in the second quarter. And it showed what we're capable of, but it's got to be consistent. It's got to be there from start to finish. We can't just show up and play that way in spurts, and those are things that we got to get fixed. If not, obviously it's going to be gut-wrenching, with these games. And so, I tried to focus on that at the same time, making sure you keep it real with the guys. They got to know, man, that every man's got to be accountable, and everybody's got to do their part.
You say every man's got to be accountable and keep it real with the guys. How are you seeing them respond?
Well, obviously we haven't been together today. Sunday we had our meeting the day after the game, and seeing guys attack that, seeing guys attack treatment, seeing guys attack the weight room. So we'll see once we get back to work here tomorrow morning. With our everything full speed ahead on Kent State, we'll see how the guys are here in the morning.
Mike, I want to go back to Malcolm Gilley's kick return for a touchdown. Had to be pretty special to see him do that, especially with the play that he's had so far this year from a wide receiver. He hasn't really had a chance to return kicks this season because of all the touchbacks. What did you see from that play to open things up to get him to score? Yeah, and
Coach Conley talked about that all week long in those special teams meetings. That guys, this is going to be our opportunity. You already referenced it. There's been a lot of the teams that we played against, a lot of touchbacks. Well, we knew, coming into this week, we're going to have a great opportunity because there hadn't been a touchback on film, and so we felt great about that. Guys knew that if we can get him blocked up and we can get Malcolm loose, he can take it to the house, and he did that. And so I think it comes down to each guy obviously responded. They knew what the challenge was. They knew what the expectation was, and we delivered.
Did you know Braden Sloan had an arm like that when he was recruited to Ball State, throwing touchdown passes to Christian Abney?
Well, no. And to his credit, we repped it in practice several times, and he had some okay throws, but that one was a dime that he threw the other day, right on the money, perfect sell, perfect execution. And so it was awesome to see him, in that situation like that, make a big-time throw.
I want to talk about the X's and O's of a play like that because you mentioned being able to sell it. So Caden takes the snap, he drops back, pitches it to Braden, and he's taking a couple steps and going. How do you draw that up to where he's taking the right amount of steps to be able to make a throw perfectly like that without having to be too much on the run, making an off-platform throw as a running back?
Yeah, well, it starts with being able to sell the toss play, and so he did a great job of doing that. Once you catch the pitch and then you put the ball away as if you're getting ready to run, it starts with being a good salesman that way, and he did a good job of setting that up. Obviously, it was a great job by Coach Elliott and the offensive staff, and of scheming him up, because a lot of times, when you don't have Tanner on the field, you're expecting, it's going to be a run. It's going to be a run, and so with Christian Abney and Tice in that situation, and obviously Caden has to do his part, making sure there's not any kind of a pressure look, and so he made a great decision that way, and then our guys went and executed.
Really good for Christian Abney, too, his first collegiate touchdown. How have you just seen him grow this year?
And, man, he works so hard. There are so many good clips of him the other day when you talk about blocking and doing his part, run game-wise, pass protection. He was getting after it, and so it was great to see him, catch his first touchdown the other day, and know how excited he was. And, he's one of those guys that is truly, truly, truly unselfish. He'll do whatever it takes to help the team win.
Head Coach Mike New joining us here on This Week in Ball State Sports. Coach, we had another awesome play drawn up. Drew Hughes catching touchdowns, put him at the fullback spot from the defensive line spot. What went into that process to say, hey, Drew, you're our guy to go catch a touchdown?
Yeah, he's our short yardage fullback, and so we've repped that. Gosh, last year even. We repped it last year, we repped it this year, and, obviously in that situation, getting him on the field, Coach Elliott had a strong conviction in his gut, like, man, I want to go with the pass play first. Then obviously if the pass play, for whatever reason, he doesn't slip to the flat uncovered, then we'll come back with the run. So it's something we practiced week in, week out, every week so far this year, and even going back some to last year. And so it was great to see that for Drew. He's caught it every time in practice, and he caught it obviously when it mattered the most in the game.
The celebration of his teammates, I don't know if Drew Hughes has had that many pats on the helmet than in that moment after that touchdown.
Yeah, which is cool to see. Obviously, the excitement level that his teammates had for him, and I think all of us have been anticipating that moment when that play was called, and just to see him enjoy that and our guys celebrate with him.
Are those just feel the moment type play calls? You mentioned it with Jared feeling convicted to go with that, but are those just, hey, we see a situation and we like that?
Oh, I think it's one of those. Well, obviously, by the way they adjusted their personnel too, you got to believe they're expecting run. You got to believe they're expecting run. He's lined up, short yardage fullback. He's a D lineman the rest of the game, and he comes in short yardage like that. Probably not thinking, man, the first thing you're going to do is play action and slip him to the flat and let him catch a touchdown pass. But I think it's just one of those. And like I said, Coach Elliott had a strong conviction in his gut on the headset, and obviously made a great call.
Because they called timeout, right, before the attempt, and then you lined up the same way.
Yeah, and obviously even during the timeout, he stayed with it. He's like, nope, I feel great about it. I want to go with it. Feel like it's, can just feel good about it. And so it was a great call by him.
Head Coach Mike New joining us on This Week in Ball State Sports, a weekly podcast here at Ball State Sports. Coach, looking at Kent State back on the road again after a home game here against Western Michigan, but what stands out about them on tape?
Well, they're coming off a bye week. They lost their MAC opener to Eastern Michigan there at home. They've had a bye week. They've been bit by some injuries. They lost 2 quarterbacks to season-ending injuries in the game against Penn State. But Tommy Ulatowski stepped in. He had a career day with almost 350 yards passing. Krishan McCray is an explosive playmaker coming off a huge game against Eastern Michigan as well. They've rotated several guys up front. Maybe some of it's by choice just because of the games they played with Penn State and against Tennessee. So, listen, they're going to be a hungry team that's trying to get into the win column. And so we're just more concerned about us making sure we have a great week of preparation here. We got to fix our mistakes so they don't continue to repeat themselves. And, those are things that we got to get done, or else we'll be having a tough Monday, and that's no fun.
Looking at a great week of practice for you today, sitting here on a Monday, what does that look like for you?
Making sure that, first and foremost, every week we go through the roster and depth chart, and any adjustments, tweaks, injuries are part of the game. We've had a couple more injuries that took place, whether it was late last week or over the weekend. So starts with, who's going to be out there when we get on the practice field tomorrow. What can they handle? What are they good at? What are we good at? And then making sure we focus the game plan first and foremost on those things before we start making any adjustments or tweaks or additions based on what we see off studying the Kent State film.
Ty Robinson was back. You mentioned injuries. Just had to bring him up. Touchdown on the right side there in the first half. It had to be pretty cool to see Ty back out there catching touchdowns.
No question. So excited for him, man. It's been a journey. He's been through some tough times, man, but nobody's been more positive and nobody's attacked his rehab better than Ty has. So I know he was excited to get back out on the practice field. He had a full week of practice last week, and obviously the only thing you go into the game being most concerned about is just his game in-game conditioning. It's been a while since he's been in a full game like that, and so he got a little fatigued towards the end there, but it was nice, man, to see him go up and make a contested catch really on that 4 verticals, and Caden put it up there knowing that that's my guy. I feel pretty strongly that he's going to come down with it, and it was a great catch here in the end zone, and just great to see for him, especially everything that he's been through.
Especially with the injury where it's at, being able to reach up like that and go get a ball is important to see from a health standpoint.
Yeah, the confidence to be able to do that, knowing that, man, there's probably a pretty good chance here that when I do catch it, I'm going to take a hit. And so it takes a lot of confidence. That takes a lot of trust, and obviously being unselfish as well, because he's like, man, I'm gonna lay it out there. I'm gonna sell out for my football team, and that's what Ty did. And so it was a great job securing that and finished it off in the end zone for a touchdown.
Well, Mike, we appreciate you joining us here on This Week in Ball State Sports this week and every week. Thank you so much. Good luck Saturday.
All right. Appreciate you having me.
Thanks for listening to This Week in Ball State Sports, presented by Gainbridge. The preceding has been a Learfield presentation on the Gainbridge Ball State Cardinals Sports Network.